In a small town nestled in the mountains of Colorado, far away from the noise of big cities, stood an old observatory. It was a place where people came to look at the stars and dream about what might be out there in the vastness of space. Dr. Emily Carter spent most of her nights here, staring through telescopes and studying data on computers. She loved her work. Every night, she hoped to find something new, something that could change how humans saw the universe. One chilly evening, as Emily sat in front of her computer screen, sipping coffee to stay awake, something unusual caught her attention. A faint signal appeared on one of the monitors. At first, she thought it might just be interference from Earth's radio waves, or maybe even a glitch in the equipment. But as she looked closer, she realized this was no ordinary signal. It repeated itself over and over again, like a loop. Curious, Emily decided to dig deeper. She called her colleague, Dr. Ryan Brooks, who often worked with her on strange signals. Ryan arrived quickly, his coat still damp from the cold mountain air. Together, they studied the signal for hours, trying to make sense of it. The more they analyzed it, the clearer it became that this wasn't random noise. Someone, or something, was sending a message. The signal contained coordinates pointing to a location near Proxima Centauri, the closest star system to Earth. Along with the numbers were blurry images, showing what looked like spaceships surrounded by explosions. Some of the ships seemed badly damaged, their surfaces cracked and burning. Emily felt a chill run down her spine. This wasn't just a message, it was a cry for help. For days, Emily and Ryan worked tirelessly to decode more information from the signal. They shared their findings with other scientists around the world, hoping someone else could confirm what they were seeing. Slowly but surely, the truth became undeniable. An alien fleet was stranded in deep space, and they were running out of time. News of the discovery spread quickly. Governments, news outlets, and ordinary people all wanted answers. Was this real? Could humanity trust the signal? Many people argued that it could be a trick, a way to lure Earth into danger. Others believed it was humanity's duty to respond, to show compassion to beings in need. Emily didn't know what to think. All she knew was that this discovery had changed everything. For years, humans had wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now, not only did they have proof of intelligent life, but they also faced a choice: ignore the call or answer it. As she stared at the stars through the telescope that night, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of something much bigger. Back in Washington, D.C., leaders from different countries gathered to discuss what to do next. The debate was heated. Some argued that helping aliens would cost too much money and put Earth at risk. Others said this was a chance for humanity to prove its worth, to show kindness even to strangers. In the end, it was Captain Laura Hayes, a seasoned astronaut known for her calm demeanor and sharp mind, who swayed the decision. Standing before the United Nations, she reminded everyone that survival often depended on working together. "If we turn our backs now," she said, "what does that say about us?" Her words struck a chord. After much deliberation, the leaders agreed to send a rescue mission. Humanity would step forward, not knowing what awaited them in the depths of space, but driven by hope and curiosity. And so, the journey began, not just for the stranded aliens, but for all of humankind. After the United Nations agreed to send a rescue mission, the next challenge was deciding how to carry it out. Humanity had never attempted anything like this before. The task wasn't just about sending a ship into space. It was about reaching another star system and helping an alien species survive. Many experts believed it was impossible, but Captain Laura Hayes refused to give up. She knew the mission would be risky, but she also knew that humanity couldn't afford to ignore the call for help. The first step was choosing the right ship. Most of Earth's spacecraft were designed for short trips, like traveling to the Moon or Mars. They weren't built to handle long journeys across interstellar space. However, one vessel stood out, the Aurora Asterisk. It was a brand new exploration ship equipped with advanced engines capable of faster-than-light travel. The Aurora hadn't been tested on such a long mission, but it was the only option available. Engineers worked around the clock to prepare it for the journey, making sure it could carry enough fuel, food, and medical supplies. Laura Hayes handpicked her crew carefully. She needed people who were not only skilled but also brave enough to face the unknown. Among them was Nathan Cole, a brilliant engineer known for his quick thinking under pressure. He spent days inspecting every inch of the Aurora, fixing small problems and reinforcing weak spots. Another key member was Jack Monroe, the ship's pilot. Jack had years of experience flying experimental crafts, and his calm demeanor made him perfect for such a high-stakes mission. Mia Bennett, the communications specialist, was perhaps the most important member of the team. Her job would be to establish contact with the aliens and try to understand their language. Mia spent hours practicing with AI translation software, preparing for any scenario. She knew that communication would be the key to success or failure. As the launch date approached, tensions grew. Some people doubted the mission's chances of success. Critics argued that Earth should focus on its own problems instead of risking lives and resources to save strangers. Even some members of the crew had second thoughts. Kyle Dawson, the head of security, voiced his concerns openly. "We don't know anything about these aliens," he said during a team meeting. "What if they're dangerous? What if this is all a trap?" Laura listened patiently to Kyle's worries, then responded firmly. "We can't let fear stop us," she said. "Yes, there are risks, but there's also a chance to do something extraordinary. If we turn away now, we'll never know what might have been possible." Despite the challenges, the preparations continued. The Aurora was loaded with extra supplies, including tools and spare parts that might be useful for repairing alien ships. Weapons were added too, though Laura hoped they wouldn't need them. The crew trained tirelessly, running simulations of everything from engine failures to alien encounters. Each day brought them closer to the unknown, and each day tested their resolve. Finally, the big day arrived. Crowds gathered at the launch site, watching as the sleek silver form of the Aurora stood ready on the pad. Reporters from all over the world broadcast the event live, capturing every moment. As the countdown began, Laura addressed her crew one last time. "This isn't just a mission," she said. "It's a chance to show the universe what humanity is capable of. Let's make Earth proud." With a roar of engines and a burst of fire, the Aurora lifted off the ground, climbing higher and higher into the sky. For the first time in history, humans were heading toward another star system, driven by hope and curiosity. What awaited them out there, no one knew. But as the ship disappeared into the darkness of space, millions of people on Earth watched with bated breath, wondering if this bold step would lead to triumph or disaster. The journey to Proxima Centauri began with a mix of excitement and nervousness. For the first few weeks, the crew of the Aurora focused on adjusting to life aboard the ship. The vessel was small compared to what most of them were used to, and living in such close quarters required patience. Meals were eaten together in the cramped dining area, and free time was spent either exercising or staring out the observation windows at the endless void of space. Nathan Cole kept himself busy by checking and rechecking every system on the ship. He knew that even a tiny problem could become a big issue once they were too far from Earth to turn back. Every day, he inspected the engines, ran diagnostics on the life support systems, and tested the communication equipment. Nathan didn't mind the long hours. It helped him stay calm. If something breaks, he often said to anyone who would listen, "We'll fix it. That's what we're here for." Jack Monroe spent his time practicing flight maneuvers. The Aurora was fast, but navigating through deep space wasn't like flying a plane. Jack ran simulations over and over again, imagining scenarios where he might need to dodge asteroids or sudden bursts of radiation. He also worked closely with Mia Bennett, the communications specialist, to ensure the ship's antennas were ready for contact with the aliens. "We've got one shot to get this right," Jack reminded her during one of their sessions. "Can't afford any mistakes." Mia, meanwhile, poured all her energy into preparing for first contact. She studied the fragments of the alien signal they had received, trying to pick up patterns in the strange sounds. With the help of AI translation software, she created a library of possible phrases the aliens might use. She practiced speaking them aloud, though no one on the crew could say whether she sounded close to correct. "It's better than nothing," she told herself whenever doubt crept in. Deep down, she worried about how the aliens would react when they finally met. Would they see humans as friends or as invaders? Kyle Dawson, the head of security, took a different approach. While others focused on cooperation, Kyle prepared for conflict. He led drills to teach the crew how to handle emergencies, including potential attacks. Though Laura Hayes had emphasized trust, Kyle couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into danger blind. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. He muttered to anyone who asked why he was so serious. His cautious attitude sometimes clashed with the rest of the team, but no one could deny his dedication. As the weeks passed, the initial excitement faded into routine. The crew settled into their roles, each person contributing in their own way. Laura Hayes held regular meetings to keep everyone informed and motivated. She made sure to address concerns openly, especially when tensions flared between Kyle and the others. "We're stronger together," she reminded them. "Remember why we're here." Then, one day, the monotony broke. The navigation system alerted the crew that they were approaching the coordinates from the alien signal. Everyone gathered in the control room, staring at the screens as the Aurora moved closer to its destination. At first, there was nothing, just empty space stretching endlessly in every direction. But then, faint shapes appeared on the horizon. "What is that?" Jack asked, leaning forward in his seat. Through the ship's cameras, they saw it, a massive fleet of alien ships drifting aimlessly. Some were clearly damaged, their hulls scorched and broken. Fires burned silently on several vessels, lighting up the darkness of space. Debris floated around them, remnants of what must have been a violent event. The sight was both awe-inspiring and heartbreaking. Laura took a deep breath before speaking. "This is it," she said softly. "Let's get to work." The Aurora slowed down as it entered the area, scanning the alien ships for signs of life. The crew exchanged nervous glances. They had trained for this moment, but nothing could fully prepare them for seeing the reality in front of them. Somewhere among those battered ships were beings who had called out for help. And now, humanity had answered. The sight of the alien fleet left everyone on the Aurora speechless. Hundreds of ships, large and small, drifted silently in the cold emptiness of space. Some looked sleek and advanced, while others were battered and barely holding together. Fires still burned on a few vessels, casting eerie glows against their metallic surfaces. Pieces of debris floated like ghostly remnants of a battle long over. It was both beautiful and haunting, a graveyard of technology and life, or so they assumed. Mia Bennett sat at her station, fingers flying over the controls as she tried to make contact. The signal they had followed here was faint now, almost drowned out by static. She adjusted the frequency, hoping to catch even a fragment of a response. "Come on," she whispered under her breath. "Someone has to be out there." Minutes passed, tense and heavy with anticipation. Then, finally, a sound crackled through the speakers, a broken, distorted voice speaking in a language no one could understand. It was melodic yet guttural, rising and falling in strange rhythms. The crew froze, listening intently. Mia's heart raced as she activated the AI translator, feeding the audio into its system. Words began to appear on her screen, fragmented but decipherable. "Help, lost, engines fail. They're alive," Mia exclaimed, turning to face the others. Her voice trembled with relief and excitement. Laura Hayes stepped closer, her eyes fixed on the screen. "Can you respond?" she asked. "I'll try," Maya replied. She typed a message into the translator, which converted it into sounds mimicking the alien language. When she played it back, the result was jarring, a mix of clicks, hums, and tones that sounded nothing like human speech. Still, she sent it through the communication system, hoping it would make sense to whoever, or whatever, was listening. For what felt like an eternity, there was only silence. Then, another reply came, clearer this time. The aliens acknowledged the message, repeating phrases that roughly translated to "thank you" and "we wait." The crew exchanged glances, a mixture of hope and unease spreading among them. They had made contact, but now the real challenge began. Understanding these beings and figuring out how to help them. Jack Monroe maneuvered the Aurora closer to the largest ship in the fleet, assuming it might be some kind of command vessel. Its surface was scared, but it seemed more intact than the others. As they approached, lights flickered on along its hull, pulsing in a slow, deliberate pattern. Was it a greeting? A warning? No one could say for sure. Nathan Cole studied the scans of the alien ships, his brow furrowed in concentration. Their power systems are failing, he reported. Some of these ships won't last much longer without repairs. Kyle Dawson frowned, gripping the back of Mia's chair. How do we even begin to fix something we've never seen before? He asked. We don't know anything about their technology, or them. We'll figure it out, Laura said firmly. That's why we're here. Over the next hour, the crew worked to establish a stable line of communication. Mia collaborated with the AI translator, refining their messages until they could hold a basic conversation. Through trial and error, they learned that the aliens called themselves the Vailith. Their leader, identified as Kelleran, explained that their fleet had been fleeing their dying homeworld when disaster struck. A malfunction in their hyperdrive system left them stranded near Proxima Centauri, unable to move or call for help until humanity detected their faint distress signal. As the dialogue continued, the Vailith shared images of their damaged ships and requested assistance repairing key systems. Nathan examined the data carefully, noting similarities between their technology and Earth's own advancements. It's not as different as I thought, he admitted. If we can get close enough, maybe we can adapt our tools to work with theirs. Laura nodded, already thinking ahead. We'll need volunteers to board their ships, she said. This isn't going to be easy, but we didn't come all this way to give up now. The decision weighed heavily on everyone, especially Kyle. He voiced his concerns again, reminding the group that they knew almost nothing about the Vailith. What if helping them put the crew in danger? But Laura silenced him with a steady gaze. Trust is a risk worth taking, she said. Let's show them we're here to help. With that, plans were set in motion. The Aurora docked alongside the largest Vailith ship, preparing for the first face-to-face meeting between humans and aliens. For better or worse, the mission had truly begun. The moment of first contact arrived sooner than anyone expected. After securing the Aurora to the largest Vailith ship, a team led by Laura Hayes prepared to board. The airlock hissed open, revealing a dimly lit corridor beyond. The walls glowed faintly with a soft blue light, pulsing rhythmically like a heartbeat. The atmosphere was thick and smelled strange, a mix of metallic tang and something sweet that none of the humans could identify. Laura took the lead, followed by Mia Bennett, Nathan Cole, and Kyle Dawson. Each carried tools or recording devices, ready for whatever might come next. As they stepped inside, the floor vibrated slightly under their boots, as if the ship itself were alive. They moved cautiously, their flashlights cutting through the shadows. Despite their training, every sound made them flinch. Every creak of metal, every hum of machinery. Ahead, a figure emerged from the darkness. It was tall and slender, with smooth, iridescent skin that shimmered in shades of green and silver. Its large, almond-shaped eyes reflected the light, and its limbs ended in delicate, multi-jointed fingers. The beam tilted its head, studying the humans with an expression that seemed both curious and wary. "Kellerin?" Laura asked, her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. The alien nodded slowly, emitting a series of melodic tones. Mia quickly activated her translator device, which responded with a rough approximation of its words. "You have come far." "Yes," Laura replied. "We're here to help." Kellerin gestured for them to follow, leading the group deeper into the ship. Along the way, other Vailith appeared, watching silently from doorways or corners. Some looked injured, their bodies wrapped in makeshift bandages that glowed faintly. Others seemed exhausted, leaning against walls or sitting on the floor. The humans couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy. These beings had endured unimaginable hardships. In a wide chamber filled with glowing panels and strange equipment, Kellerin stopped and turned to face the humans. Through the translator, it explained more about their situation. Their fleet had been fleeing their homeworld after its star began collapsing, leaving their planet uninhabitable. During their escape, a critical error caused their hyperdrive system to malfunction, stranding them near Proxima Centauri. Without the ability to repair their ships, they faced certain doom. As Kellerin spoke, Nathan examined the nearby controls, marveling at how similar yet alien the technology was. He pointed out patterns to Mia, who jotted notes furiously. "If we can stabilize their power cores," Nathan said, "we might be able to jumpstart their engines." But Kellerin interrupted, warning them of another threat. A predatory species known as the Zarnak prowled nearby space, seeking easy prey. The Vailith had managed to avoid detection so far, but their damaged ships made them vulnerable. "They will come," Kellerin's translated voice warned, "and they do not show mercy." Kyle stiffened at this news, his hand instinctively moving toward his sidearm. "We need to prepare for a fight," he muttered. Laura shook her head. "Our priority is fixing their ships," she said firmly. "We can worry about defense later." Over the next few hours, the humans worked alongside the Vailith to assess the damage. Communication was slow and frustrating at times, but patience paid off. Slowly, trust began to form between the two species. One young Vailith named Silara, who acted as a liaison due to her quick learning of basic human phrases, bonded with Mia. Together, they exchanged simple greetings and gestures, building a fragile bridge of understanding. By the end of the day, progress was evident. Several key systems had been stabilized, thanks to Nathan's ingenuity and the Vailith engineers' cooperation. But outside the ship, sensors detected movement, fast-moving objects heading straight for the fleet. The Zarnak had arrived. Tension gripped the crew as alarms blared across the Vailith ships. Kellerin urged the humans to return to the Aurora *, promising to continue repairs while defending their position. Laura hesitated, torn between staying to help further and ensuring her crew's safety. "We'll retreat for now," she decided finally, "but we're not abandoning you." As they hurried back to their ship, the looming threat of battle filled the air. Humanity had answered the call to save the Vailith, but now they would have to fight to protect them too. Back aboard the Aurora *, the crew scrambled to prepare for the impending attack. The Zarnak ships were closing in fast, their jagged forms cutting through space like predators stalking prey. On the main screen, the enemy vessels appeared as dark, menacing shapes, bristling with weapons and glowing red at their edges. It was clear they weren't there to negotiate. Laura Hayes stood in the center of the control room, her voice calm but firm as she gave orders. "Jack, get us into position. Kyle, arm everything we've got. Nathan, monitor power levels. We can't afford any surprises." Jack Monroe gripped the controls tightly, maneuvering the Aurora to face the oncoming threat. Though the ship wasn't built for combat, its experimental weapons systems gave them a fighting chance. Missiles and plasma cannons lined the hull, hastily installed before the mission. Now those defenses would be put to the test. Kyle Dawson moved quickly, checking each weapon station. He had spent weeks preparing for this possibility. drilling the crew on emergency protocols. Still, doubt gnawed at him. "We're outmatched," he muttered under his breath. But when Laura shot him a sharp look, he straightened up and focused on the task at hand. Meanwhile, Mia Bennett stayed glued to her communication console, maintaining contact with the Valeth. Sil'Era's melodic voice came through the speakers, relaying updates from Kelleran. The Valeth leader assured them that their ships were ready to defend themselves, but it was obvious they wouldn't last long against the Zarnok's superior firepower. "Tell them to fall back," Laura instructed Mia. "We'll draw the enemy away so they can finish repairs." Mia hesitated. "Are you sure? That puts us directly in harm's way." "It's the only way," Laura replied. "If we don't buy them time, none of us will make it out of this alive." As the first wave of Zarnok ships opened fire, the Aurora shuddered violently. Bright streaks of energy lit up the darkness outside, narrowly missing the ship. Jack pushed the engines to their limits, dodging incoming blasts while returning fire. The bridge crew worked together seamlessly, shouting coordinates and warnings as the battle intensified. Nathan Cole monitored the damage reports, sweat dripping down his forehead. "Shields are holding. For now," he reported. "But if they hit us again, we're in trouble." Kyle led boarding parties stationed near the airlocks, ready to repel any Zarnok invaders. His earlier doubts vanished, replaced by grim determination. When alarms signaled a breach attempt, he sprang into action, leading his team to fend off the attackers. Laser bolts filled the narrow corridors as humans clashed with the insect-like Zarnok soldiers. Their chitinous armor made them tough opponents, but Kyle's quick thinking turned the tide. Using makeshift traps and improvised tactics, he managed to drive them back. Outside, the Aurora continued its desperate dance with the enemy. Jack executed daring maneuvers, spinning the ship around debris fields and using nearby asteroids as cover. Every shot fired from the Aurora found its mark, taking down one Zarnok vessel after another. But the enemy kept coming, relentless and hungry for destruction. Amid the chaos, Mia coordinated with Sil'Era to guide the repaired Valeth ships toward safety. Through bursts of static, she relayed escape routes and encouraged the aliens to stay focused. "You're almost there," she said, her voice steady despite the tension. "Just a little farther." Slowly but surely, the Valeth fleet began moving away from the battlefield, slipping past the distracted Zarnok forces. Kelleran's gratitude echoed over the comms, though it was tinged with sadness. They understood the sacrifice the humans were making. Back on the Aurora, the situation grew dire. Shield levels dropped dangerously low, and the ship sustained heavy damage. Sparks flew across the control room as panels overloaded. Laura clenched her fists, her mind racing. "We've done enough," she said finally. "Jack, plot a retreat. We've bought them the time they need." With one final burst of speed, the Aurora broke free from the Zarnok fleet, limping away from the fight. Behind them, the remaining Valeth ships disappeared into the void, safe for now. Exhausted but triumphant, the crew let out a collective sigh of relief. They had faced an overwhelming enemy and survived, not unscathed, but victorious. For the first time, humanity had proven itself not just as explorers, but as protectors. And somewhere among the stars, the Valeth carried the memory of Earth's bravery with them. The retreat from the battle left the Aurora battered and bruised, its once sleek exterior scorched and dented. Inside, the crew worked frantically to keep the ship operational as it limped through space. Emergency lights flickered in the corridors, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The hum of the engines was uneven, sputtering like a wounded animal trying to run. Despite the damage, morale aboard the ship remained surprisingly high. They had succeeded in their mission. The Valeth fleet was safe, for now. Laura Hayes stood on the bridge, her face streaked with soot, but her expression resolute. She watched the main screen as the sensors showed the Valeth ships disappearing farther into the distance. "They made it," she said softly, almost to herself. Her voice carried a mixture of pride and relief, though exhaustion weighed heavily on her shoulders. Jack Monroe slumped in his pilot's seat, his hands still resting lightly on the controls. His knuckles were white from gripping them too tightly during the fight. For the first time in hours, he allowed himself to relax, letting out a long breath. "We did good," he murmured, glancing at Laura. "But this ship won't hold together much longer." Nora Bennett nodded from her station, where she continued monitoring communications. Though the immediate danger had passed, she stayed alert, listening for any sign of pursuit from the Zarnak. So far, the enemy seemed content to let the Aurora escape. Perhaps they viewed the humans as insignificant compared to the larger prize, the Valeth fleet. Either way, Mia wasn't about to take chances. "No signals yet," she reported. "But I'll keep scanning." In the engineering bay, Nathan Cole worked tirelessly alongside his team to patch up critical systems. The shields were completely gone, and several sections of the hull were compromised. Air hissed faintly from cracks that hadn't been fully sealed. "We need to find a place to stop soon," he called over his shoulder to Kyle Dawson, who was helping secure loose panels. "If we don't, we're not going to make it home." Kyle wiped sweat from his brow, nodding grimly. He had seen enough damage during the battle to know how close they'd come to disaster. "You think the Valeth will help us?" he asked. "They owe us," Nathan replied simply. "If they can spare even a little tech or supplies, it might be enough to get us back on track." As if on cue, the comms crackled to life. Sil Era's melodic voice came through, translated by the AI system. "Kelrin sends thanks and aid. Follow coordinates." Mia relayed the message to Laura, who wasted no time giving the order. "Jack, set course for those coordinates. Let's see what they have for us." Hours later, the Aurora approached a smaller Valeth ship that had stayed behind to assist. Its sleek design gleamed under the light of a distant star, untouched by the earlier conflict. A docking tube extended from the alien vessel, connecting it to the Aurora. When the airlock opened, a group of Valeth engineers greeted the human crew, their movements graceful and deliberate. Communication between the two species remained slow but effective. Using gestures, basic phrases, and the translator device, the humans explained their needs. The Valeth responded by offering advanced materials and tools far beyond anything Earth had developed. Nathan marveled at the efficiency of their technology, which repaired damaged systems almost instantly. Within hours, the Aurora began to feel like a functional ship again. During the repairs, Kelrin addressed the crew via video link. Through the translator, the Valeth leader expressed gratitude not just for the rescue, but for humanity's courage and selflessness. "You risked yourselves for strangers," Kelrin said, its melodic tones carrying a sense of deep respect. "This act binds us." Laura smiled faintly, feeling a surge of hope despite their hardships. "We're glad we could help," she replied. "Maybe one day our peoples can work together more." Before departing, the Valeth presented the humans with a gift, a small crystalline device containing data about their technology and culture. It was a gesture of trust, an invitation for future collaboration. As the Aurora pulled away from the Valeth ship, the crew watched silently as the aliens disappeared into the stars. With renewed purpose, Jack plotted a course for Earth. The journey would still be long and challenging, but the Aurora was stronger now, and so was the bond between humans and the Valeth. For the first time in history, humanity had forged an alliance with another species, proving that compassion could bridge even the vast distances of space. As the ship sailed onward, Laura gazed out the observation window, her thoughts drifting to what awaited them back home. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew one thing for certain: humanity's place in the universe had changed forever. The journey back to Earth was quieter than the trip to Proxima Centauri, but it was far from peaceful. The Aurora had been repaired enough to function, but the damage from the battle with the Zarnak still lingered. Panels across the ship buzzed faintly, and the hum of the engines carried a strained note, as if protesting every mile traveled. The crew worked tirelessly to keep everything running smoothly, knowing that even a small failure could leave them stranded in the vast emptiness of space. Laura Hayes spent most of her time on the bridge, staring at the stars streaking past the observation window. Her mind replayed the events of the mission over and over: the first contact with the Valeth, the chaos of the battle, and the gratitude in Kelrin's voice when they parted ways. She felt a deep sense of pride in what they had accomplished, but also a weight of responsibility. Humanity had stepped onto the galactic stage, and there was no turning back now. What would Earth make of their actions? Would people see this as a triumph or a reckless gamble? Jack Monroe focused on keeping the ship steady, his hands resting lightly on the controls. He had grown attached to the Aurora *, treating it almost like a living thing. Every groan of the metal or flicker of the lights made him tense, worried that something else might break. "She's holding together," he muttered to himself, patting the console affectionately. Just a little farther. In the engineering bay, Nathan Cole remained vigilant, checking systems and making adjustments whenever necessary. The advanced materials provided by the Valeth had helped stabilize the ship, but they weren't miracle workers. "We're lucky they shared what they did," Nathan said to Kyle Dawson, who stood nearby, arms crossed. "Without their help, we'd be floating to Brace by now." Kyle nodded, though his expression stayed serious. The battle with the Zarnak had left its mark on him, not just physically, but mentally. He couldn't shake the memory of facing those insect-like soldiers, their glowing red eyes and razor-sharp claws. It reminded him how dangerous the universe could be. "We got lucky this time," he said quietly. "Next time, we might not." Mia Bennett, meanwhile, spent hours studying the crystalline device given to them by the Valeth. Its surface shimmered faintly, reflecting light in strange patterns. When she activated it, streams of data filled her screen. Maps of star systems, schematics of alien technology, and even recordings of Valeth culture. Though much of it was difficult to understand, Mia felt a thrill of discovery. This was humanity's first real glimpse into another civilization, and she knew it would change everything. As the days passed, the crew began to reflect on their journey. They had faced unimaginable challenges, from deciphering an alien signal to fighting off a hostile species. Yet, through it all, they had found moments of connection and understanding. The bond they formed with the Valeth wasn't just about survival. It was about trust, cooperation, and hope for the future. One evening, Laura gathered everyone in the common area for a rare moment of rest. She brought out packets of freeze-dried food and handed them around, along with cups of lukewarm coffee. "We've done something incredible," she said, raising her cup in a toast. "Not just for Earth, but for all of us. We proved that humanity can stand alongside others, even in the darkest times." The crew clinked their cups together, smiling despite their exhaustion. For a brief moment, the weight of their mission lifted, replaced by a sense of camaraderie and accomplishment. Finally, after weeks of travel, the blue-green orb of Earth came into view. The sight brought tears to Mia's eyes and a lump to Jack's throat. Home had never looked so beautiful. As the Aurora descended through the atmosphere, they braced themselves for what awaited them below. News of their mission had spread worldwide, and millions of people were watching, eager to hear their story. When the ship touched down at the spaceport, crowds erupted into cheers. Reporters shouted questions, cameras flashed, and dignitaries waited to greet them. Laura stepped off the ramp first, followed by her crew. They were greeted not as ordinary astronauts, but as heroes who had changed the course of history. Humanity had answered a call from the stars, and in doing so, had taken its first steps toward becoming part of a larger universe. The return of the Aurora to Earth sparked a wave of excitement and curiosity across the globe. News outlets broadcasted every detail of the mission, from the initial discovery of the alien signal to the daring battle with the Zarnak. Images of the damaged ship and interviews with the crew dominated headlines, turning Laura Hayes and her team into household names. People everywhere marveled at what humanity had achieved, not just surviving in deep space, but helping another species in need. Laura stood before an audience at the United Nations, recounting their journey step by step. Her voice was calm but filled with emotion as she described the Valeth fleet stranded near Proxima Centauri, the language barriers they overcame, and the sacrifices made during the fight against the Zarnok. When she spoke about the crystalline device gifted by the Valeth, murmurs rippled through the room. Scientists and politicians alike leaned forward, eager to learn more about the data it contained. "This isn't just a story of survival," Laura said, holding up the shimmering crystal for everyone to see. "It's proof that we're not alone, and that cooperation is possible, even between strangers. The Valeth trusted us, and we didn't let them down." Her words resonated deeply. For years, humanity had debated whether reaching out to alien life would bring danger or opportunity. Now the answer seemed clear. It could bring both, but also hope. Governments began discussing how to use the knowledge shared by the Valeth. Engineers studied the advanced materials and designs, dreaming of ways to improve Earth's own technology. Meanwhile, linguists pored over recordings of the Valeth language, determined to build stronger bridges for future communication. Back home, the crew of the Aurora struggled to adjust to their newfound fame. Jack Monroe found himself invited to speak at aviation conferences, where eager audiences hung on his every word about piloting through asteroid fields and dodging enemy fire. Nathan Cole worked closely with research teams, explaining the intricacies of the Valeth tech he had seen firsthand. His insights helped scientists develop new ideas for energy systems and spacecraft design. Mia Bennett became a symbol of human-alien connection. She appeared on talk shows, sharing stories of her friendship with Lara and the challenges of translating an entirely foreign language. Her enthusiasm inspired young people around the world to pursue careers in science and diplomacy. "We have so much to learn from each other," she often said. "This is just the beginning." Kyle Dawson, however, kept a lower profile. The battle with the Zarnok had left scars, both physical and emotional, that he wasn't ready to share with the public. Instead, he focused on training programs for security personnel, teaching them how to handle threats beyond Earth's borders. He knew humanity would face dangers as it ventured further into space, and he wanted others to be prepared. Despite their different paths, the crew stayed close, meeting regularly to reflect on their experiences. They agreed that the mission had changed them, not just as individuals, but as representatives of humanity. They had proven that courage, teamwork, and compassion could overcome even the greatest odds. As weeks turned into months, the impact of their journey continued to grow. The United Nations formed a special council dedicated to studying the Valeth data and planning future missions. Space agencies around the world increased funding for exploration programs, citing the Aurora success as evidence of what could be achieved. Even ordinary citizens felt a renewed sense of wonder, looking up at the night sky with fresh eyes. One evening, Laura returned to the observatory in Colorado, where Emily Carter still worked. The two women stood side by side, gazing through the telescope at the stars. "You started all this," Laura said with a smile. "That signal you found, it opened doors none of us ever imagined." Emily shook her head. "No, you did the hard part. You answered the call." They fell silent, lost in thought. Somewhere out there, the Valeth continued their journey, carrying memories of Earth and its people. And here on Earth, humanity looked toward the future, ready to take its place among the stars. Whatever lay ahead, one thing was certain: the universe was no longer a lonely place. Months after the Aurora*'s return, life on Earth began to change in subtle but profound ways. The knowledge shared by the Valeth sparked a wave of innovation that rippled through every corner of human society. Engineers used the alien designs to create faster, more efficient engines for spacecraft. Scientists developed new energy sources inspired by the Vaylith's advanced technology, reducing reliance on fossil fuels and bringing cleaner power to cities around the world. Even medicine saw breakthroughs as researchers studied biological data from the crystalline device to better understand healing processes. The crew of the Aurora became symbols of unity during a time when divisions often seemed insurmountable. Their mission reminded people that humanity could achieve great things when it worked together. Laura Hayes traveled the globe, speaking at schools, conferences, and community events. She told stories of courage and sacrifice, urging everyone to look beyond their differences and focus on what united them, not just as humans, but as part of something larger. We're explorers now, she would say, and exploration isn't just about discovering new places. It's about discovering ourselves. Jack Monroe returned to flying, but not before helping design the next generation of spaceships. His experience piloting the Aurora through battles and debris fields shaped the way engineers thought about maneuverability and safety. Pilots everywhere admired him, and young cadets dreamed of following in his footsteps. For Jack, though, the real reward was knowing he had played a role in opening humanity's path to the stars. Nathan Cole remained deeply involved with the research teams studying Vaylith technology. He spent long hours in labs, collaborating with experts from all over the world. Though the work was challenging, it filled him with purpose. This isn't just about building better machines, he once explained to a colleague. It's about understanding how far we can go and who we can become. Mia Bennett dedicated herself to fostering communication between species. She helped establish an international institute focused on alien languages and cultures, using the lessons she learned from Silura to guide others. Her passion inspired countless students to pursue careers in xenolinguistics, the study of extraterrestrial languages. Through her efforts, humanity took its first steps toward truly connecting with the wider universe. Kyle Dawson continued training security forces, preparing them for the unknown dangers of space. Though he rarely spoke about his experiences fighting the Zarnak, his methods reflected the lessons he had learned. Stay alert, adapt quickly, and never underestimate your opponent. Under his guidance, Earth's defenses grew stronger, ensuring that future missions would be safer. Back at the observatory in Colorado, Emily Carter gazed at the stars, her heart full of hope. The signal she had discovered months ago had set everything in motion, and now the possibilities felt endless. Every night, she scanned the skies, wondering if another call might come, one day leading humanity even farther into the cosmos. As the years passed, the legacy of the Aurora only grew stronger. Humanity launched more ships, exploring distant star systems and seeking out new allies. The bond with the Vaylith deepened, evolving into a true partnership. Together, humans and aliens worked on projects that benefited both species, proving that cooperation could transcend barriers of language, culture, and biology. For Laura and her crew, the journey had been more than a mission. It had been a turning point. They had faced fear, danger, and uncertainty, yet they had emerged stronger. Now, as Earth looked toward the future, it did so with confidence, knowing it wasn't alone. Somewhere among the stars, the Vaylith sailed onward, carrying memories of the small blue planet that had answered their cry for help. And on Earth, humanity stood ready to meet whatever challenges lay ahead, united by the belief that the universe was a place of wonder and opportunity.